In a world and time when so much is changing, there is still so much of our culture that has to be documented and kept alive. Who are the bearers of these precious living cultures? How do they pass on a knowledge transmitted through the ages? What they represent has survived colonization, conflict, marginalization, and yet they persist. Sila ang sisidlan, the living vessels that store Dayaw, our knowledge, our pride. In the past 3 episodes of Dayaw Season 4, we've met the culture bearers, the Gawad Manlilikha ng Bayan awardees, 13 individuals who steadfastly clung to the highest standards of their culture and artistic traditions. Sisidlan is a word that best describes these vessels of tradition. In this episode, we look at other vessels, men and women who have chosen to study, record, document, and teach these artistic traditions to a greater public. The field that they have chosen is Filipino folk dance and performance. It is a difficult mission that they have chosen, but you will experience for yourselves their passion, their dedication, their all-consuming love for this aspect of our culture. Who are the vessels who have borne the dances of our indigenous peoples and brought them to the cities and urban centers, teaching them to students and professionals? Our survey includes the performing groups that have been founded by the late national artists Ramon Obusan, Francisca Reyes Aquino, and Lucrecia Reyes Urtula. Add to these visionaries the names of folk dance stalwarts Cora Inigo and Ligaya Amilbangsa. But their story is also the story of many young Filipinos who have chosen to go against the grain of popular culture, to learn about and yes, to keep alive the dances, rituals, chants, and even the philosophies of our indigenous peoples. And yet the question must be asked, in the transference of knowledge, in the translation of actual ritual into staged performance, is a true spirit lost?
In a community, people perform from themselves. They do not perform for an audience. Otherwise, everybody, in a way, is a participant. But this is the nature of the dances in our community. For example, if you have a village ritual, the village ritual will involve dancing. The Subli of Batangas, this is done during, May, in honor of, the finding of the cross of Santa Elena, no? So this is a ritual that is devoted to, as a form of devotion to Saint Helene, no? To the cross, and it is actually not only dance, it's actually a ritual complete with mythical basis. It's music, chanting, because in our traditional communities, art is not separate, it's not divorced from ritual.
The home of the late national artist for dance, Ramon Obusan, is a repository of his archives, his documentation and notation of dances collected from the field, his vast collection of textiles and costumes and artifacts. Recently, as specified in his will, the Ramon Obusan Foundation has opened the house and the collections to scholars and researchers as ang Bahay ni Kuya. But the house has always been open to dance enthusiasts and students, generations who have imbibed the late national artist's love for all things Filipino. Here, where the members of the company carry on the tradition of teaching, it is not only dance that is learned, from the mano po greeting that is mandatory for all who enter, to learning the dances with bare feet so as to be closer to the earth, to the Bayanihan spirit that animates all productions. The Obusan experience is one where the best values of our culture are nurtured and ingrained in young Filipinos.
1, 2.
Dulce Obusan, who took over the company's management after her brother passed away in 2006, talks about the legacy of her brother and his consuming passion.
He was a maverick. He did things that not a lot of people did in their time. He was a dreamer. He was exceptional in what he did. His biggest legacy is what you see. Anytime you see a dance performed that was researched by him, choreographed by him, it's the brand. Anytime you witness any of the performances of the other groups that try to mirror what we do, you know, that's his legacy. Education, just raising the awareness of the kids. Not even just the kids. I guess everybody. It's a nice way to speak of what we're trying to do. That is to make sure that our traditions just don't go by the wayside.
Teaching the research and passing it on to a new generation of interpreters is a job that Obusan's protégés, his most loyal students, take very seriously. The work is, after all, more than just a methodology. It was a lifetime of experience learned firsthand from a master.
Number one is discipline in terms of time. You have to know when to come on time. Yun ang number one training sa amin ni Kuya Mon that he really passed on. He calls for a rehearsal ng 9 o'clock. Dapat makarating ka bago mag-9. Second, discipline also sa pag-intindi sa sariling mong gamit. It's not just the dancing that he taught us. It's the preparation that matters sa kanya more than anything. The process that he does not only limit you to become a dancer. Slowly, nagiging costumistress ka.
Nobody's indispensable. Kahit pa soloista ka, star dancer ka, if you consider yourself one, kung member ka ng core, ng dance, pero if you make a mistake o na meron kang nagawang foul during training or on or before the performance, talagang papalitan ka niya. Wala siyang pinipili. So, everybody has to stand by, everybody has to learn their position sa sayaw. Everybody should learn the dance para just in case na may papalitan, somebody would always be ready.
Isa sa mga lessons na nakuha ko sa kanya is yung love your own, yung talagang pag Pilipino ka, yung dapat, yung correct yung pagkakakilala mo doon sa, not just as collective na Filipino, but yung mga tribo, ano siya, is part of the training, not, hindi lang dance talaga, yung mga tribo, yung mga from the north, down to south, talagang, may mga ano pala sila differences kahit na collective na at Filipino. So, kilala mo na sila the way yung isa-isa po nilang line, pero then saka makikilala mo talaga the whole yung pagiging Pilipino mo po.
We have a very rich history of traditions. Our culture is so diverse. Nowhere else around the region has a culture as beautiful as ours. And that's our job. It was Kuya's job to make sure na hindi mawala, hindi makalimutan.
How does a company adapt a traditional ritual or dance meant for a ritual space or village square and transform it for stage for an audience that wants not to be as involved but entertained and educated? In translating a dance into a showpiece, how does a company create a brand that represents not just the indigenous and the folk, but the entire Philippines?
Francisca Tirona Benitez, the mother of Tita Helen, thought that there should be a real center that would go into full research. And therefore, the following year, the Bayanihan Folk Arts Center was established with its own board. So they went into full research to find out more about Filipino heritage. In 1958, they wanted to bring Filipino representation to the Brussels World's Fair. So Tita Helen at that time met with a lot of civic leaders and politicians to find out. She said that maybe the best way and not as costly is to bring these young people to represent the Philippines, because there were talks about bringing jewels, the gold jewels, and so many things. So that was the international debut of Bayanihan at the Brussels World's Fair. This was now called Bayanihan Dance Group. And it was really comprised by Filipino students, PWU students, both from PWU in Davao, because there's a Philippine Women's College in Davao, and PWU Manila. And they started to enjoy promoting Bayanihan. Aristocrat impresario Sol Hurok heard about the dance company and invited the company to go to the US. And that was the entry of Bayanihan to Broadway. So in 1959, October 13, Bayanihan performed at the Winter Garden in Broadway and got all this.
Vincono il premio Tempio d'Oro 2015 le Filippine!
Now, with this new generation of directors, when we came in, we somehow did not stick to that kind of programming. We have our own idea of how we will present the Filipino program in a totally different manner, still keeping the essence of folk as started by the pioneers.
In terms of technique, I think Bayanihan has retained the way it should be, except that, you know, it's the generation that changed. Unlike before, all is pa-cutie-cutie, you know, when you dance and all that. And then, when I took over, I noticed something, you know, the now generation is totally different, especially the millennials. They don't they're easily bored with what they're doing, so they love excitement and something which is very daring and thrilling in terms of dancing. Before, it used to be male and female dancing together. So I have observed that if a dance is performed by a boy and a girl, the dance tends to be soft. And, you know, the boys are like secondary, something like that. So I thought of coming out with dances with all boys, taking away the girls' part and to make it stronger. I started with mga martial arts and also like maglarating. I made it more brisk and more staccato. Unlike before that, it goes so. I took away the soft part, all very, very, very strong and brisky movement.
So we've had 14 major world tours and more than, wow, hundreds and hundreds of short tours. And then we have covered 6 continents, 77 cities. Beautiful experience in Bayanihan. And I think a lot of us then joined because we love to dance. And suddenly we realized that we were bringing with us something that was so beautiful, because suddenly you see standing ovations and the acceptance of so many people.
In Diliman, the UP Filipiniana Dance Group continues a long history of teaching and performing with students. The Diliman campus grounds often provide dramatic backdrops for both rehearsal and performance. The youthful spirit of the company belies its history. The UP Filipiniana Dance Group is the oldest of the dance companies featured here. Its young artistic director traces the company's growth.
The Filipiniana Dance Group was founded in 1935 by the first Philippine national artist for dance, Professor Francisca Reyes Aquino. And then after that, nagkaroon po kami ng mga 7 more artistic directors from the college. Si Professor Buendia, Zafra, Agsalud, and many more, including po si Professor Corazon Inigo. During her time, she was able to bring the Filipiniana to the world sa iba't ibang competitions and festivals. And dun po nakilala ng lubos yung Filipiniana. Filipiniana is a varsity group. So we are also called student athletes. But of course, we'd like to call ourselves student artists. These dancers, they are under contract to serve the university as dancers, as folk dancers, and also jazz dancers, kasi yun yung ino-augment namin sa aming folk dance. So in an academic setting, varsity po sila. So kung ano yung basketball varsity, ganun din yung responsibility ng Filipiniana. Gina-juggle nila yon. They work every day for 3 to 5 hours na training, and they have academics in the morning. When they get to Filipiniana, ang hinahanap lang naman po namin ay syempre marunong sumayaw, may background ng konti, madaling turuan, may disiplina. Yung height tsaka yung body type, wala naman kaming pinipili, as long as makapag-work kami with them, and hindi naman sila naiiba sa the rest of the people in the group, no? So also, as long as they can cope with the academic yung rigors ng academics dito sa UP. In my directorship kasi, I want to be collaborative, since hindi ko naman maaako na expert ako sa Philippine folk dance. So I have alumni, I have friends in the community who come and help teach. They also impart different knowledge from their own learnings, and that's how we create a multifaceted individual when it comes to Philippine folk dancing.
The dance story of Ligaya Amilbangsa is essentially a love story. A love story that spans almost half a century. A love story that continues today even without a formal dance company.
in 1969, I attended a big wedding in Olosulu, and I saw this lady, this young woman, perform pangalay. I was mesmerized. Galing. It was really different from what we call pangalay in Luzon, the ones that I sometimes see in cultural presentations in Manila. It's so sinuous, what is this, very elegant, no attitude problem, like ganyan sa atin, no attitude problem. When I was invited to teach at the Sulu College of Technology and Oceanography in 1972, I was able to study pangalay, talagang in-depth. I said, I have to learn this dance. Because I told my husband, in 50 years, if I don't learn this dance and document it, it will be lost. And true enough, it did not even reach 25 years, and the dance is already so much watered down. Many postures and gestures have been almost forgotten. It's only now when we perform that they call, oh yes, yes, my grandmother or my auntie or my mother used to do that movement, see? So I really studied it and documented it. And I was able to write a book about these dances after 13 years. 10 years of studying it so that I can learn it. How do you call that? Proprioception. So that it can be memorized by my muscles. So I can perform it well enough that I can teach it. I had to learn from the natives themselves because there's no formal method of instruction. I was the one who developed the formal method of instruction after so many years of studying.
I think this is one solution to make it as authentic as possible. But of course, it's already really out of the context of the community. But still, you will show the communal context. Parang buhay Pinoy. How does the Filipino live in this part? No? So this is the aim of Ligaya Fernando-Amilbangsa. And also, UP Filipiniana, to a certain extent, tries to contextualize the dances. Ramon Obusan is very contextual when it comes to the costuming. I would like to, appreciate the attempts of all these dance groups like Bayanihan, Ramon Obusan, UP Filipiniana, and the one of Ligaya Fernando-Amilbangsa in trying to, show who we are as a people in as faithful a manner as possible. Although they don't really, many of them, especially Bayanihan, don't really claim that their dances are that authentic. That's why they are contemporary interpretations of our folk dances.
How wonderful it would be if all Filipinos could, at one point in their lives, be a part of a folk dance troupe and think of what could be imbibed. The discipline, the grace, the community and team spirit, the appreciation for a rich culture. Think of the fun of communing, of learning to move as a group, of doing one's part towards the achievement of a common goal. Maybe not everyone will be perfect, including me, or most graceful dancer, but surely any young Filipino would come out of a folk dance group would be a better, more conscientious Filipino. After all, if we can learn to dance as one, maybe the idea of a nation united and attuned towards a common goal may soon be a reality. In every movement, in every dream, a reflection of Dayaw, our knowledge, our pride.